Hello and welcome to the Crypto Jungle. My name is Baloo, and here on the channel I teach you how to trade and invest in cryptocurrency. You guys are wanting an honest YouTuber that is not going to feed you a bunch of garbage, then hit the subscribe button, because what we do here on the channel, we take a look at the charts, take a look at the fundamental data, and we try to come up with the most logical explanation as to why certain cryptos have value and other cryptos maybe not so much. But before we get into that, let me make sure that I got my background music. There we go. Yeah, so without any further ado, let's start on the king of all cryptocurrencies, and that is Bitcoin. So we're starting off the week here. We're getting close to the Monday close. If we don't already have our Monday close in place, daily is. Times are getting confusing for me here on the other side of the world because it's Tuesday. Trying to get used to that. But yeah, we just had our daily close on Bitcoin. But I want to focus on the weekly chart to start off here because it's a bad close. Okay, we got a bad close on the weekly chart with Bitcoin. And it's basically this level right here on the weekly chart. You know, when we're in a downtrend, when we're in a market of low liquidity, you have the macro investors waiting on the sidelines. The macro investors are reading the weekly chart. Okay, they're reading the high time frame charts, and they're looking for opportunities for a possible trend reversal or a trend continuation. And when we look at the weekly chart, this level right here of the $34,500 level was defended for 6 weeks. So a month and a half of defending this level right here. Unfortunately, week before last, we did have a close below, and that resulted in a pretty bearish close, or a pretty bearish candle to follow that. We were unable to recover from that, so now it's a continuation candle. So it's not looking too spectacular, to be perfectly honest with you. For those who are heavily exposed to altcoins, I'm sure you've probably realized by now that when Bitcoin is in a bearish posture, the altcoins typically get hit a little bit harder. So if we do get a breakdown in Bitcoin, expect there to be some pretty volatile moves to the downside inside of the altcoins as well. And yeah, I mean, nothing is really, there's nothing really confirmed just yet, but I'm really not liking this structure, and I need you and the rest of the community to understand that this is a bearish continuation of a bearish trend. So where would we be looking for targets? I'm just going to go to the 3-day chart here, and we've mentioned these levels a few times before. There's kind of this sort of area here right at around $20,000, $20,000 to even the bearish case somewhere around $16,000 if we're including this little wick here. That's a pretty good support level for what we have. But the thing is, don't just count on support levels. If you are not thinking long-term, then just counting on a support level to be a buyer at may not be your best course of action. If you're thinking that as soon as we hit this support level, that's where we're going to bounce and turn around, I think you need to get away from that method of thinking, because the reality is we're in a downtrend and there's no rules. There are no rules that go along with duration of a bear market, duration of a bull market, duration of needing to hold support. There's no rules. So what that basically means is there is no determined amount of time that this bearish trend can't continue. This is coming in the face of quite a divergence from the fundamentals of the space, because the fundamentals of cryptocurrency have never been stronger, and they continue to get stronger and stronger. So from a fundamental standpoint, I don't think we have necessarily the recipe for, let's say, a 2-year bear market. But from the TA, the technical point of view, from the traders' investments, it's bearish. It's bearish, so expect some lower levels. Another area that I would like to be paying attention to is just this kind of area right here. And that's right at around the $25,000 to $24,000 level. I think if we take out this low right here, I think we're going to blast right through that level. But, open interest is actually quite low right now, and it's to the short side. So, I don't know. But this level right here of 28.8 is a pretty significant level. If we start breaking below that, that's a pretty macro break. When you have a macro break, you can typically expect a bit of a macro move. So please proceed with caution out there as you are trading, especially if you are exposed to altcoins. For me, I took a loss on a few altcoins. I had to consolidate down. I wanted to boost up my cash position. And I built up a few kind of buy walls for certain projects that I'm quite bullish on. One of those projects is, as it comes as no surprise, is Ethereum. So Ethereum on the macro, we're taking a look at the log chart. This is kind of our channel right now. I find it very, very unlikely that we head down to the bottom of the channel, but I'm looking at the most bearish cases possible so that I can mentally prepare for the downside risk. But more realistic, we probably have some sort of channel that looks a little bit more like that would put us around the $800 to $700 range for the bearish case scenario. That would be Bitcoin going down to $20,000 to $16,000, with room to the downside as well, as low as $400, which would be absolutely insane. But this market is insane and nothing is outside of the realm of possibility here. So we are looking at getting a weekly bearish cross on our custom indicator. We use the alphanumerics indicator in the crypto jungle. It comes with your membership if you're interested in getting your hands on this indicator. Links down below, but it's simply just a momentum oscillator, momentum indicator. So if there are any momentum indicators that you are paying attention to, chances are the higher time frames are looking quite bearish on. So, all right, let's catch up with the chat a little bit. Crypto Greece 16K. I think 16K is possible. That is kind of the lower end of the ranges that we should be paying attention to currently. So, for that reason, where we stand right now at $30,000, looking at 16K as like a target is the most bearish target that you would be looking at while we're in this $30,000 range. You kind of got to take these things level by level. The more realistic range is kind of that, $24,000 to $23,000 range. And if we just blast right through that, I'd be looking at around 20. 20 is a huge psychological number for Bitcoin. But it's not outside of the realm of possibility. If you're looking for places to place a stink bid, 16K is not a stupid place to place a stink bid. But make sure you have other bids higher as well. What's up, Yud? Does PNF give a downside target? So PNF simply gives you a target. We don't have downside. I haven't done one for the local consolidation because I don't think there's been enough time. That's the thing about point and figure charts, is they do need quite a bit of volatility and time to really get a count. So I'll have to have that one prepared for you on Wednesday, because I don't typically do point and figure counts on stream. They do require you to kind of play around with the numbers a little bit. So I'll have that prepared for you on Wednesday. Can we have a double spring? Yes, anything's possible, but that's not a tradable event for me. If we're going back to Bitcoin here, could we break through? Let's go back to the daily. Could we break through and get bought back in? Yes. But structurally speaking, and the amount of participation in the market currently, it's looking as though the probability of that is unlikely. However, it's also not an actionable event. So if we do get a spring, the action will occur at higher levels. The trade happens at higher levels. Right now, there's no entry into a trade. If you are ballsy, you would be entering above $36,000, $37,000 And if you were a little bit more responsible in the trend change, you would be looking at a break over $42,000. So as it stands right now, there's really no trade. There's certainly no long trade. So please bear that in mind. What was I going to do? Yeah, no, I'm not going to do NF. If that's a sign of weakness, was indeed a spring. Yeah, no, this right here, this sign of weakness is not a spring. No, because what happens after a spring is you jump the creek, you have bullish, you have participation, you have volume coming in, and we just don't have any of that stuff. So it's not a spring. It's just a sign of weakness. We broke the bottom of the range and it was met with zero demand, no demand whatsoever. It's just, yeah, yucky. Not only that, but inside of our channel on the 4-hour, we are now trading below the area of my seller's climax down here on the wick. Some people have this as the seller's climax as well, but I have mine over here. We're now trading below that with a bearish test, trying to get above. So really, there's not a lot to do here outside of just placing bids at lower levels and maintaining or building up your cash position in preparation for the moves to come. The market has extremely low participation. The market has extremely low trading volume overall, and it is declining. So you need to realize that nobody cares. Nobody cares about crypto right now, all in the face of crypto being fundamentally very quite sound. So, you know, short to medium term, proceed with caution. Long term, I have no issues whatsoever. It is an absolute no-brainer for me that this market is going to be here for a very long time, and that we're going to see price appreciation in a lot of these assets, particularly the high market cap assets. Fundamentally, we are incredibly strong. So patience is the name of the game right now, as it usually is inside of markets. Unfortunately, the get-rich-quick crowd always gets sucked in when everything's hot and frothy, and then when the market calms down, they wonder what's going on. This is very typical of crypto. So if you've joined in the last 6 to 8 months, you've gotten used to a market that is not the norm. Okay, we sit around and we wait a lot. Okay, this market, when it's hot, and when it's cold, it's cold. So please realize that. Matic is my biggest bag, bought at 31 cents. Do you think we are going back there? I think 31 cents might be a little bit more on the bearish side, but I was looking at Matic just the other day, and I think I was looking at some of the more bearish targets around 50 cents. But again, you know, we need to see kind of a breakdown. So, you know, as far as hedging, you know, you could hedge your position in Matic using a futures contract, or I think you can even overdraft on FTX with margin. But yeah, if you're wanting to lock in some prices, you might want to consider getting a short contract against your portfolio just to kind of neutralize some of that volatility. But Matic, yeah, we've got targets. Yeah, so if you got in at 31 cents, it looks like you got in just before kind of the major moves in Matic, and it's definitely dumping. It's got a very strong trajectory to the downside. I don't think that's outside of the realm of possibility. Got a bearish cross on the 3-day, coming in for our bearish cross on the weekly. Lots of room to the downside. Yes, I do think that you could see a Matic down at your entry. Please, you know, nothing here is financial advice. I'm simply just sharing what I'm looking at in the charts. The charts look bearish. So we have a lot of bearish continuation to the downside. I'll let you make your own. Yes, Dash. Short liquidation on Dash. Yeah, this is coming in the context of a very illiquid market. You know, not a lot of trading volume gets these assets to do some really funky, crazy things. So huge pump on Dash as we reached a double bottom. And then, yeah, short liquidation, and now we're back to fair market value. So Dash looking pretty shitty. A lot of guys, the whole market, let's be honest here. we are in a bear market. It's just a matter of how long. Now, there's this thing in the crypto market where you hear the word bear market and you think 2 years. Bear market just means bearish trend with low participation. That can go on for a month. It can go on for 28 years. There's no time period associated with the bear market. Okay. It's simply a point in which the momentum is very low. The setups don't play out bullish, and the time durations where you're waiting on investments are very long, and there is a downside momentum or a flat momentum. So bear markets, there is no time associated with it. If I was a betting man, if I was to put some sort of time parameter on what I think this bear market has in store for us, I would say that we're looking at about a 6-month bear market. That would be my just kind of general, assumption based on nothing really other than just a divergence between the fundamentals and the technicals. Technicals, very bearish. Fundamentals, I've never seen them stronger. So I guess all that really leads me to conclude is that, I don't see a recipe here for a 2-year bear market. And Johnny, I said 28 years to kind of prove a point. The only point I'm trying to make is that there is no time associated with it. I could have said 100 years. It doesn't matter. There's no time associated. But yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. Let's see on the dash chart. Yeah, it looks like a liquidation event. You're one of the first few to talk about Axie. Congrats on that. Any other NFT similar plays, play to earn game tokens? I'm actually quite relieved that Axie didn't get super overheated because it's still very fundamentally strong. So if we head into a bear market, honestly, I think that you have opportunities again in Axie Infinity. But yes, I do think that there are other projects that are interesting. One that kind of I work with, Hard Forking, another channel, they're talking a lot about 9 Chronicles. It's kind of in the same sort of spot where Axie was, a year ago in terms of network adoption and stuff like that. So go check out 9 Chronicles. Currently available nowhere. Its in-game token is literally in-game, but if it's a blockchain game, we can only speculate that it would be released on some sort of blockchain, be it Ethereum or what have you. I anticipate that it would be readily available. Another one that's kind of interesting that I got hosed on, by the way, is Rev. So this is crypto and we're in a bear market, so you do have to proceed with caution. But Rev is another one. Its play to earn model is a little bit different. This is a racing game. So the racing play to earn model is very different in the sense that the payouts are to the leaderboard. Now the payouts on the leaderboard are actually pretty darn good. But you have to have a good car. You have to be a good player. You have to earn your position on the leaderboard, and if the game starts to gain momentum, it's going to be harder and harder to place on the leaderboard and actually get those playouts. Whereas Axie, you play Axie, you receive SLP. So that's going to be much more of an in-demand game because it's more accessible to the anybody can earn money on Axie Infinity. So a little bit different. Johnny, I think you're missing the point, man. You're hearing me say all these bearish things, but it's simply to address the point that there is no time frame associated with a bear market. What support level would at what support level break would one consider a short, 30K or 28K? Well, shorting on a support level is kind of tough. If you're the type of trader who's kind of glued to the charts and you can see the momentum building and you can see the downside trajectory and it's like, okay, we're witnessing a meltdown here, you would be able to participate in some sort of short. But it's the same as a breakout trade. If you're not there to place your orders at a breakout trade, you're not there to place your orders at the breakout. So if you're not there for the breakdown, bugs are bugging me today. you're not going to be there. So you do have to be that type of trader who's present for the breakdowns. Just as if you're a breakout trader, you need to be present for the breakouts. So if you're around for it and you see the volume start to come in on a break, then you could take a position, keep your stop relatively aggressive, just considering that you are kind of shorting a support level. But you know, if you get the continuation to the downside, it would theoretically be a pretty good move. Okay, it's hard to tell, Johnny. It's hard to tell. I'm just looking at messages here. I can't tell when people are kidding and when they're... Okay. Yeah, so as far as NFT games, check out 9 Chronicles. Another one that I'm kind of interested in if you are a little bit more of a high roller. I'm going to start dabbling with the Gala nodes. So Gala nodes right now, to run a node, it's about $11,000 to run a node. If you have $11,000 kicking around and you want some passive income, then you could look into Gala nodes where you are paid out in the underlying currency, Gala, which is actually not doing too bad right now, all things considered. We're looking at, I'm looking at about a month for Gala to start taking off. But the node will pay you NFTs as well. So it's a platform, it's a marketplace for gaming tokens, as well as the node pays you the underlying currency of the platform and gives you the in-game assets for you to play those games or sell the NFTs. So if you're interested in checking out or, you know, running a node, I think, you know, it's a more achievable node to be running than the Ethereum node right now that requires 32. Take a look at what XRP is doing. XRP BTC. Actually go XRP USD. Days. Yeah, ugly. Ugly. Yeah, this is full-on distribution right here. So this whole move, man, XRP. It's, I don't know what to say with XRP. It looks like it has a lot of potential in its setup. It's got a lot of potential in its point and figure counts. This thing is ugly though, and it just keeps on getting uglier. Kudos to the XRP army who has just had their entire portfolio in XRP and watched the entire market just, you know, make people tons of money. And then you got a little glimmer of hope and then it was all taken away. You know, you guys got diamond hands, that's for sure. Any takes on the Bitcoin conference on Wednesday? I think that they are, you know, it's a good exposure to the bullish fundamentals and the progress. You know, there's a lot to report on in Bitcoin, specifically in terms of the Lightning Network. Lightning infrastructure is full force. I have completely transitioned my mindset of going to Bitcoin as a store of value only to, you know, we're never going to see Bitcoin be a currency. We very much so have the potential to see Bitcoin as a currency, as well as a store of value. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what kind of fundamental discussions take place as a result of that. You know, it's a bullish time. It's a bullish time when you have those conventions. I don't know what the fuck Elon Musk is doing there. I hope he doesn't, you know, spread a bunch of bullshit and talk about the advancements of Dogecoin. But yeah, Elon Musk is apparently going to be speaking at that conference. I hope he is there to talk about a Tesla miner. I've been speculating on this for a while. You know, it's almost like the perfect setup for him. You know how he talked about how Bitcoin is not sustainable, it's not a good use of energy, it is coal heavy, it is bad for the environment, yada yada yada. Almost the perfect setup for somebody like Elon Musk to release the news that they are going to be developing a Tesla miner. So if that ends up being the case, you heard it here first, folks. I've been speculating on that one for a little bit, complete speculation. You know, this is not based on anything other than just, you know, a play that I could see happening. But yeah, that would be cool. And hopefully he doesn't talk too much about Doge, because Doge is a completely worthless project that is only going to hurt crypto in the long run. Acting like Bobby Axelrod from Billions. A more general question: if you control a majority of the miners, don't you control Bitcoin? Yes. If you control 51% of the hash power, you control Bitcoin. But good fucking luck doing that. It's pretty much impossible for you to control 51% of the hash power. And if that ever even came close with any of the pools, I think that, you know, you could see a mad dash in Twitter to get everybody operating something to contribute to the network, because it's the people's money. You know, if you can, it won't be profitable for you to mine Bitcoin on your phone. It won't be profitable for you to mine Bitcoin in the background on your computer. But if it was a matter of hash power, I think together. Oh, I'll have to check out that thread. Are you referring to Tesla miner? Good morning if it's morning for you. I don't know how much of my audience is against. Okay, so I think that is about it. Bitcoin versus the government is a bit like Empire versus the Jedis. Yeah, I think, you know, I think eventually there's going to be a clash of government theory as Bitcoin becomes more popular. You know, El Salvador has adopted Bitcoin as its local currency, which I kind of, when I initially heard that, I was like, well, you know, Japan declared Bitcoin legal tender back in 2016. That's not a big deal. But what was profound is, no, we're not declaring it legal tender. We are making it our currency. That's fucking cool. Pardon my French, but that's very cool, because they've already transitioned to the dollar, but they don't receive any benefits being a dollarized country. You know, they get the benefit of a stable currency, but they don't have the ability to print it, nor do they with Bitcoin. Okay, so, but the benefit of Bitcoin is it's you know, it's non-inflationary. So if you're going to pick a currency for being stable, well, maybe Bitcoin's not the best right now, but in the long run, Bitcoin might be the best option. So they're very forward thinking, and there's already other countries like Panama that are beginning to follow suit. We might see a lot of areas where remittance is a large portion of the country's economy, where you get more and more of these countries that are using Bitcoin as their local currency, which is going to be dope for travel. It's going to be really cool for travel, because I don't know how many travelers watch this channel, but it is a pain in the ass to constantly, you know, pay bank fees for ATM transfers. This bank gets a cut, that bank gets a cut, you know, and it's just, it's a headache. It would be so nice to just be able to land in a country. I already have the local. It'd be really, really cool. And we're heading in that direction. We're heading in that direction. Referring to the B word conference and the speculation around Jack, Elon, and Kathy Wood. I don't like all three of those people. I used to like Elon Musk. Now I don't. Okay, that's it. I feel myself kind of rambling here, so we're going to close it out there. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. If there are any projects that you would like me to take a look at, a closer examination, please just bring them to my attention down in the comments section. And that's about it. We will see you guys around. Please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.